Are you homeless for the first time or about to be homeless for the first time? Maybe you're a support worker that engages with people who are new to homelessness. Here are 6 crucial areas that should be focused on right away. And it starts with immediate safety and shelter. Safety first. It is the most immediate and important concern. And that includes everything from having a safe place to stay at night to avoiding other dangerous situations. Here's what you can do. You can identify local shelters, warming centers, or drop-in centers. If shelters are full, consider public spaces like libraries or 24-hour transit hubs, or private spaces like indoor shopping malls or even overnight coffee shops if you have enough money to buy a cup of coffee. But always prioritize a safe environment. Most communities have a phone number called 211. And in most places, you can call that number to find out where the resources are. Another option is to learn what street outreach teams exist in the community, and they can help you find and navigate resources too. The second crucial area, that's accessing basic needs. Think of things like food and water and hygiene supplies. So physical survival is actually going to be dependent upon meeting your basic needs. So here's what you can do. You can find community kitchens, food banks, organizations that provide free meals. You can seek places where hygiene services are available. That's things like showers and laundry. And many shelters, a lot of drop-in centers or day services, and even some faith-based centers offer this sort of service. Some communities even have mobile hygiene services. Think of it as mobile showers and a trailer that comes to a parking lot. You want to seek places where you can get clothing for free, if necessary. A lot of shelters, drop-in centers, and again, faith-based organizations do a phenomenal job at providing access to free clothing. Also, if necessary, visit public libraries or day centers for access to restrooms and places where you can get water. All right, the third crucial area, establish connections to resources and support networks. Now, those right connections can be the difference between moving from crisis to moving back to housing. And when you start to engage with those resources, keep in mind that your ability to share your situation should not be done with a place of stigma or shame, that there's lots of people who want to assist you in moving forward. If you contact local service providers, many of these are going to have access to something called case management services. They can make the referral to those services, and the case management services can help you navigate access to the resources that you need. This is not a one-size-fits-all approach. And when you start to access those resources, make sure that there's a focus on housing, on getting out of homelessness. If it is safe and appropriate for you to do so, you can also consider reaching out to family or friends. Sometimes they can provide temporary housing, and sometimes they can provide a safe space for you to figure out the next steps in your own permanent housing. Crucial area number 4, maintain your identification and important documents. Now, this varies from place to place, but having ID in some places is essential for accessing some government services and can be essential for applying for housing and getting access to things like medical help. It's also the sort of thing that some authorities, like if they were to stop you, may ask you for identification. So having that can be hugely helpful in those relationships. Now, here's how you can go about keeping that ID and those other documents safe. Keep them, so things like birth certificate, driver's license, your social, safe and secure. Either keep them on you at all times in a safe, secure location, and I recommend things like a front pocket of your pants, or if you have that trusted family or friend, they may not be able to take you in, but they may be able to store your documents in a place that's safe. If your documents are lost, in addition to safety, you want to try prioritizing getting the process started to get them replaced, because those pieces of identification can take time, especially if things like your birth certificate are from a completely different jurisdiction. You might also be able to digitize copies of your identification and important documents. A lot of libraries will provide access to a scanner that you can use to do that. And some communities, though not all, and let's be clear, it'd be greater if there was more, offer something called identification banks or ID banks. If it is available in your community, this is a safe place, usually a nonprofit organization that allows you to safely store your identification with them during your experience of homelessness and the ability to retrieve it if and when you need it for things like housing applications. Crucial area number 5. If you have even a little bit of money, guard it as best as you can. You want to spend as little as possible for as long as possible. But you're still going to need a little bit of money if you're going to places like overnight coffee shops. No one's going to serve you coffee all night for free. If you go to like a privately owned place to warm up like a mall, it's always good to have a little bit of money in your pocket, so if someone stops you like security and asks you what the hell you're doing, you can say that you're going to get a pack of gum from a store in the mall. So if you have a bank account, keep your money in the bank account, except maybe $20 or less at a time. If you need a debit card to access your bank account, make sure that's kept safe and secure. Like your important ID and documents, you want to hold your money usually in a front pocket whenever possible. And if you are a person who uses a purse, you may want to consider taking stuff of value out of your purse and putting it in your front pockets and leaving things that you're not as concerned about if they get stolen or lost inside your purse. One last thing about the money management, and I know there'll be times when you're hungry, but just remember, being frugal is important at this time. The value menu items at fast food joints will be tempting, but that can drain your money really fast. Okay, the 6th crucial area, creating a path to stability. That's income and housing and health. Long-term stability will depend on regaining access to housing with the right supports that you need. Here's what you want to do. You want to apply for emergency benefits or assistance programs. You want to look at things like unemployment aid and help with basic needs like food security. If there is a wait list of any kind to get on government-assisted housing, get on the wait list sooner rather than later. Even if you figure out an alternative strategy to get yourself housed, you want to be on that list sooner rather than later. If you're a veteran, inquire about whether or not there's veteran-specific resources in your community. Many have them. And the veteran-specific programs will look at your specific needs and supports as a veteran. You also want to seek job opportunities if you're able. And this can range from temporary job opportunities or accessing things like workforce development programs to things like continuing in the career or job you had prior to losing your housing. Third component of this is getting connected to health services, especially if you are dealing with mental health or substance use concerns or challenges. If mental or physical health needs are immediate, prioritize seeking medical aid before anything else. Hopefully the focus on these 6 crucial areas is helpful to you if you're new to homelessness. And hopefully it's also helpful to those individuals who support people experiencing homelessness. If you are experiencing homelessness for the first time, it can be extremely unsettling. It can be scary. It can be anxiety-inducing. I also want you to know that most organizations that work in this field and most of the workforce that those organizations attract are full of kindness. They're full of compassion. They will reinforce your dignity and they will serve you with professionalism. They want you to succeed. They want you to get housed again. They want you to be stable. Thanks for watching.